Hello and welcome to another edition of the One Team We Agree On. I'm Jillian.
And I'm Kyle. How are you doing today?
I'm doing much better. As you can tell, I have a voice again.
Yeah, I'm still fighting my sinus infection. So,
Yeah, I got it right. Like I got much better right before we left for Montreal. So,
yeah, no, I'm feeling better. I get my voice back, but it's still a little scruffy. But,
yeah.
hey, um, we got a lot to discuss today.
Yes, we do.
Um, and we just got back from Montreal yesterday, so we're definitely going to be talking about our time there.
Mm,
Obviously, the game, disappointing, but also
yes.
some other news, and some fun stuff. MLS All-Star kit dropped.
Yes, we're going to talk about that.
We're definitely going to talk about that. And then, of course, um, before we get into what we're in today, uh, you know, officially official, Julian is moving on. So,
Our king, the Mate King, King Julian.
and you, in commemoration of him, drinking a mate.
I'm having mate. Yes. So shout out Julian for getting me into that. And shout out Jose Nunez, who also got me into mate.
Yes,
So, yes, I credit both of them. And yes, what we're wearing today.
yes.
Well, I am wearing my MLS bootleg Julian Carranza shirt. I mean, this was a no-brainer. Of course, I'm just going to wear that. And yes, I'm having some mate.
And I, in commemoration of the game on Saturday, looking ahead,
Mm.
since it's probably the only episode we actually record this week,
Mm-hmm.
could have another one. But wearing the dupe kit from last year, which is the Doom knockoff for the Red Bull
Right.
rivalry game. So I'm wearing that. And we'll I'll be at the game on Saturday. You have a wedding, so
Yeah, I have a wedding to go to. So sadly, I won't be at the Red Bull game, but watch the Union win. I mean, I hope they do. And of course, I won't be there to celebrate then if they do. Maybe I'll just have to come on down. I'll just like drive there.
yeah.
If they, okay, if the Union win, I may just end up leaving the wedding reception at that point. They'd probably have
Come
me
down
fine.
and
And I'm
celebrate
going to
you.
come down and celebrate at Union
Yeah.
Yards. Don't be surprised if that happens, if I show up, if that happens. But if we do win, I think I have a good shirt to wear on our next pod.
Excellent. Excellent.
But but yes, Julian, we'll talk all about that today. So as well as our Montreal trip.
So before we get started, where can people find us?
You can find us on all your major podcasting platforms, and we are on social media on Twitter at TOTWAG. We're on Instagram and Facebook at The One Team We Agree On. We have our website, theoneteamweagreeon.com. Also, check out our individual Twitter handles. I'm silly double underscore Jilly, and you are at Coach Almany, and I have a TikTok as well. So Jillian underscore Almany. Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. So, we are going to get started and talk about the first news of the day. This is off the MLS website. Philadelphia Union transferred Julian Carranza to Feyenoord.
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 Yeah, so Julian Carranza has been transferred. We all knew this was coming. We weren't sure if we would get anything for him, if he would go on a free in the winter someplace or what, but Feyenoord wanted him, apparently, so that they could have him in sooner, obviously. And we should get a good sell on fee.
Yeah,
That's really where the money is going to come. Now, Miami gets some, and I think doesn't Banfield get
yeah.
something
I think
too?
is that what Tanwald said?
Something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we don't know what the amount was for this, but that has not been disclosed. However, it has become official, and sadly, one of the top goal scorers in the Union's history has moved on. But this is great news for Julian. This is great for his career, and I'm happy for him, but it's really bittersweet because Julian gave everything he had for the club. He really was a great player to have on the Union. And from the times I've interacted with him and from what I've heard from other people as well, just a really quality person.
Yeah, I mean, I think the quality there, obviously, his relationship with Olivia Slocum,
Yeah.
is big. 37 goals, 15 assists in 115 regular season games.
Yeah.
You know, was part in 2022 with Ua and Gustag with that
Mhm.
amazing scoring trio, and
Yeah.
even as of last year, they over the 2022, 2023, they were the top scoring trio in MLS. So I mean, while you're not going to replace probably one of the, if not best strikers for his time here with the Union, um, it is bittersweet because he always wanted to play in Europe. That
Yeah.
was his goal, so he gets to go to Europe and play there.
Yes.
He's going to a great situation, a great league, and Jim
Yeah.
spoke openly about that today.
Yeah.
In his press conference. I think the silver lining, like you stated, and I know a couple other people have stated, is Union are getting something because I mean it was reported a couple times he was gonna go there at the end of the season when his contract was up, and they were gonna get him on the free. So
Yeah.
the plus is hopefully if he continues to develop, Union will get a kickback on the sell on.
Yeah.
But Union gets something. So
Yeah. I mean, what more can be said than, thank you, Julian, for everything you did for the Union. And I really hope that he crushes it in Europe.
I do
I
too.
think, he's what, 24.
Yep.
He's playing great. It's a shame that the one thing that really bothers me, and I don't know how much could have been done about this, but I just wish he could have had a good send off
Yeah,
with the
but
fans, with the
from
team.
what it sounded like, he
He
didn't
didn't want,
really.
like, a big to do. And
Yes.
that really checks with what we've learned about Julian
Yeah.
last couple of years. He's, more soft spoken. He doesn't, you know, um, try to make himself the center of attention. He's just like, and he's like more, he said he's more of like a homebody and everything. He's just kind of like, chill.
He was about the we, not the me, which
Yeah.
for a forward is very commendable. He put the team first.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing we want to talk about right now is what are your favorite Julian Carranza moments? I know you posted on Twitter on
Yeah.
our page about your favorite goals.
Yeah.
What were your favorite Carranza moments?
Um, well, gosh, there's a bunch. That goal against NYCFC in the Eastern Conference final.
Mhm.
That one. The bicycle kick against DC. Just basically both DC games where he had hat tricks were epic.
Mhm.
So those were a few of my favorites, honestly. And you know, Colorado, actually, the away game in the 2023 season, when we went there,
Mhm.
and Julian, he had a goal there, and he was interviewed after the game, and so I actually had a picture of that, but um, just like, and I was like, "Hey, Julian," and he's like, "Hey," because I was like just one of the few Union fans hanging around there at the end,
Right.
but no, he was super super nice. And I regret that I wasn't at that last open practice, but, we had practice, but,
I think
um, yeah.
I think for me, a couple things stand out. Some fun ones. Obviously, after 2022, when we played DC, the Wikipedia page getting changed
Oh, the
over.
vandalism on the Wikipedia,
Yes,
changing the
Julie
owner,
to
uh,
Julian
yeah,
Carranza.
the owner of DC United being Julian Carranza,
That
yes,
was always fun.
that was fun.
Uh, the goal against NYCFC, the bicycle, obviously, those go without
He
saying.
had some really great goals the last 2 years as well, and, just like even this season, there were some really good ones. It's just, you know, it was always fun to watch, and I really miss seeing him on the field when he was out for injury this season, and then, of
Right.
course, when we knew he was going, but
The
yeah.
other things for me, I
Mm.
think, are seeing his interaction with the fans, always
Mhm.
taking time. Again, like
Yeah.
I said, with Olivia,
Yeah. Yeah. Shout
and
out
I
Olivia
know.
Slocum, she's gonna need a new boyfriend now. Yeah.
But in all seriousness, just that's an example of the kind of person he was. It was,
Yeah.
he always made time, soft spoken. His When the union PR department was doing the videos of the players, some of the
Mhm.
questions,
Yeah.
just some of his understanding. Um,
Yeah.
Also his interview with Jose. Shout
Yeah.
out. And if you haven't heard that interview with Jose, it's definitely probably on, I know for a fact it's on his Twitter page.
Yeah, and also I enjoyed his interview with Sage Hurley on
Yeah,
the Dupe. I thought that was great, and he teaches everyone how to do mate, which was great.
exactly.
And yeah, like I said, okay, I drink this all the time now, and so
But
yeah,
the most interesting part was, I think, was to see his growth as a player and a
right,
person.
yeah,
For example, earlier this year, we've been going through a rough patch.
mm-hmm,
Just seeing him at that at the m- mix zone, just talking about the team meeting at halftime and his
yeah,
discussion, and just seeing kind of stepping up into a leader, which
yeah,
I think is a big growth moment for him. So
it is, it is.
again, we wish you nothing but the best, Julian.
I
We'll
wanted
be
to also,
watching from afar. Oh,
yeah, and I also wanted to say how just impressed I was that he didn't really know much English when he came to the Union,
mhm.
and how quickly he picked that up. And his English is very, very good. I know his fiance, I think, taught him a lot of English there as well, and I think just being immersed in it helped. But like, props to Julian for gaining English so quickly. So, but yeah, I just wish him all the best, and we're gonna miss him. And I hope Feyenoord takes good care of him, and I hope he, just keeps going on to bigger things, and hope he gets to represent Argentina in the World Cup. That would be fantastic.
Yep.
So yeah, all the best to Julian.
So we got some merch to talk about.
Dewey.
We do. So yesterday, I believe it was, um, MLS released their 2024 All-Star kit here. If I can get this pulled up. And
There it is.
there it is, 2024 All-Star jersey. So again, as we know, the MLS All-Stars will face Liga MX on July 24th at the Columbus Crews Lower.com field. So this, so if you let me, this jersey is designed to celebrate the best MLS has to offer and honors the iconic style and flash of 90s soccer's 30th anniversary of the last time the United States hosted the World Cup. So let's go.
90s soccer. Woo.
90s soccer.
Okay, you had me at 90s. Okay, so Kyle, let's be honest, when you saw the jersey, what did you think when what did you think I was gonna think?
I thought you were going to love it right away.
Yes, you're correct. And I love how Jose Jose and Todd, they're like, yeah, Jillian's gonna like that.
Yep.
Yep, and they're right.
And
Yeah,
we're right.
it's
And
fun.
it is fun. What it reminds me of? It reminds me of like the old 90s hip hop videos. Remember the early 90s, like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, oh, like, it honestly reminds me of like old Tribe Called Quest CD.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it just has that 90s vibe to it.
Which is probably why I really like it. I'm a 90s kid. What can I say?
It does. So
Yeah.
yay or nay on that?
Yay. Yeah, I really like that. It's a shame that none of our players will be getting to wear that.
Yeah, that's the first time since what, 2018? We haven't
Yeah.
had representation.
Yeah.
Is there anybody you felt worthy? Because I've seen some comments people said, they've been so bad. Down this year,
Um,
no one. But
I think Kai deserved it. If anyone deserved it, Kai deserved it.
yeah, I've seen some people debate that online. But I think if you are going to make a point, I think they got it right. I don't think anybody really truly deserved it, but Kai would
No.
be the closest this year.
Right.
He's just been consistently one of the better left backs in the league,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it would be nice to see Kai there, but I get it too,
Would you say Kai's been the best Union player this season?
consistently, probably yes.
Yeah, I would agree. I think he's been the most consistently strong player. So if I had to pick someone to be on All-Star team, it'd be him.
Yeah, yeah. All
Uh,
right, so we were in Montreal.
yes, we were.
Went up to see the Union play CF Montreal this past week. So we're gonna take some time, talk about our trip, talk a little bit about the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Um, let's first talk about the trip. So we went up
We
from
drove.
yeah, we drove. Traffic was fun, both going to and coming back.
So yeah, we were doing okay, and then we had some traffic in spots on the way up, and then we sat at the border for maybe almost a half hour.
Yeah.
So it just took a little while to get in there because they had like 3 lanes open and just like was taking forever. It was Friday night. So we finally got in. So all in all, it was a little over 9 hours. And then the way home though, we left early and took like 5 minutes at the border to get back in the US. And we were making great time coming home until we're on 78 and near Trexlertown.
Mhm.
And everything, there was for whatever reason, 78 was closed. And so we ended up having to get off and just take this really back way. And so between Allentown and Reading, it was just a cluster, you know what. And we were so close to getting home, and it added over an hour to our trip.
Yeah.
So that was a long day. And God bless you, Kyle, for driving the entire time, both ways. I offered, but
Well, the plan was I was going to stop off around Kutztown
yeah,
and have him drive home, but no, it was fine. It's an easy drive.
it wasn't bad. Yeah,
I would recommend people if you want to go to Canada, both the Toronto and Montreal, it's an easy day
it's
drive.
doable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get up Friday night, go
Yep.
meet with some friends.
Yep.
And then Saturday was kind of the big day though.
Yeah, it was.
So we'll share some pictures. So we got up and started walking around town a little bit here, and
Yeah, so we stayed just near downtown, and it was
was of course a Union game. So
yeah, and there was like a jazz fest and stuff going on too down there,
yeah,
which was kind of cool. We didn't check it out, but we know people who did. But yes, of course, the weather was nice on Friday.
yeah,
And
Friday.
then game day, well, if you're not watching this, if you're only listening, yeah, we're in raincoats there.
Yep.
So that SOB and Livery Football, those rain jackets have gotten their money's worth this season.
And also shout out to Elvia, Eve, and Rich for
Yeah.
it was nice hanging out and chatting with them on Friday night.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, we were kind of walking around the city Friday and
Yeah, we
Saturday
stayed in
morning.
this little like old like 3-story hotel just
It was okay. So I found this place. It was because of Jazz Fest around downtown. It was pretty expensive last weekend. So I found this nice place, and the reviews were very mixed. And I've
yeah.
learned that it's either going to be one of those hidden gems, no thrills,
Yeah.
or it is what it is. I actually was really impressed. I thought it was no frills, but hey,
Yeah.
I mean, it was easy to get to the metro, which if
It was
you
very
ever
close to the metro, which was super convenient, and it had parking.
and there was a lot around there,
Yeah.
and it had
Free
parking,
parking. Yes.
which parking wasn't ideal. But again, would I stay there again? Absolutely. And
Yeah.
especially like if rates are high and that's cheap, I'll stay there. I just know what I'm getting into with the
Yeah.
parking. That was the biggest issue.
Yeah, it's just that they had this little lot, and you would like be parked in possibly, so they needed to like have your key so they could move cars around kind of, it was
So you
kind of
just needed
like it was valet, if you
so
will.
you
But
just needed to plan ahead.
so it was, but yeah, it was fine. But it was around a lot of stuff and very close to the metro, and we ended up getting a weekend unlimited pass for the metro, which was like perfect because we used it a whole bunch of times.
Hmm.
So definitely recommend that if you're going for a weekend or something. It was like 15 bucks each.
Yeah,
So
it's a
I
great
mean,
deal.
well worth it. So anyway, we walked around, and we then met up
With
with Dave Leno and Kyle Morrell.
Yep,
So of course, I think everyone knows Dave Leno,
and producer Kyle.
and producer Kyle. Then it was great to meet up with them, and
Yeah.
we went down to the kind of old city part of
Yeah, we went
downtown.
down to the team hotel,
Yeah.
and then we kind of
Also, shout out Seba. Saw
yeah,
Seba.
talked to Seb for a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, we met this nice little coffee shop and bakery. Got
Yes,
some
this was Olive et Gourmand, it was
Yep.
called. And so pastry shop and coffee and everything. So we had those, very good.
Talked to the Union fan who we saw later at the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we went back to the hotel, sat down, ate our pastries, drank our coffee, and it was just nice,
It was
getting
just
to talk to
chatting.
Kyle about how he got into production
Yeah.
and just talking to Dave about questions and just asking some questions we didn't really get to ask on the, just a nice relaxing atmosphere,
Yeah.
sharing some stories. Yeah, I talked some swimming, but
Yeah.
it was a good time. So then we got an Uber and we all wanted to go get a Montreal bagel, which if you don't know,
They have
people,
good bagels.
they have great bagels in Montreal. We had them when we were up last summer. They were
Yep.
fantastic. So we went to this place that came recommended.
Saint Viator bagel, or however you say it.
Yeah, I thought
Um,
their bagels were phenomenal.
yes. I don't know much French, so I
Yep.
took German in school. So anyway, yeah, it was very good. I ended up getting a rosemary one and also an all dressed, which what actually all dressed is basically an everything bagel. Not all dressed like the chips, which are phenomenal. If you've never had all dressed potato chips, they're good. And you can get them in the US sometimes, but just yeah.
I had a maple and apple bagel, which was phenomenal.
Nice. So yeah, they're real good. So there's Dave and the Kyles and me with
Yeah.
their bagels. So yes,
I
that was a
look
good
I
time.
look very suspicious in Everybody's not like very suspicious of
Yeah,
me.
so that was a great time.
And so then we went back and you and I uh,
We
ve-
went, yeah, so we went, this is Duluth Street or whatever, and it's they have a bunch of pedestrian streets
yep.
where they have little shops and cafes and things like that, bars and whatnot. So we went to this cat cafe. It's Happy Cat Cafe.
Mhm.
I'm not even going to try to say it in French.
Yep.
And but we went there last year when we were visiting Montreal, and so we definitely wanted to go back. And they have cats, of course, roaming around in there, and
Yeah.
it's a cafe. So it's great.
And it was really nice because I even put this on Trouble. They have good food. We had grilled cheese for
Yeah.
lunch.
So, and they have, yep, there's cats
And we'll go
wandering around.
back, yeah. But they also have pictures of the
They
cats.
have like videos playing with the cats
It's
that they recorded.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So there's the cats and there's me having my coffee. And then
And
yeah,
then so I'll just stop this real quick.
yeah.
So yeah, we just hung out there. And then we went to a nice little.
It was raining, so we wanted to get out of the rain
So we
too.
went to like a little bottle shop, had a bar upstairs, hung out, and then we headed back to the hotel to get ready for the game. And before, while we did that, we stopped at this place to get some
Just like
gifts.
a little kind of like bodega place.
Yeah, and what's all this? Yerba mate, the
Yes. Yes, I know some people who like to drink these.
do you?
I do.
Do you know who these people are?
Should I say?
No, we're not gonna out them, but is this legit mate?
Jose would say no.
No, no.
But hey, if you enjoy it, hey, that's cool.
Yeah, they have,
I have
yeah,
not had one, but
and we did not, yeah, we did not
I'm
get
having
one.
the real stuff right now, so
Anyway, so yeah, it was funny. We thought we'd have some fun with that.
yeah.
But um so then we headed to the game, met up with some people
Yeah, and of
at
course we took the metro again, like super convenient.
right to the
Yeah, it
stadium.
was a straight shot, like the same line that we were on. So yeah, we got there and the forecast had improved a little bit. It did rain during the game though, but it did improve a bit. And if you've never been to the Montreal Stadium, Stade Saputo, it's right by the Olympic complex too.
Right.
So, and the biodome and everything. So there's
Which check out the biodome if you get a chance. And you
yeah,
got
and the
the
botanical
it's
gardens.
right across the street
Yeah,
from it. So
there's lots to do.
we didn't get a chance to get to the botanical gardens strip, but
We went last time though,
yeah,
so
it's phenomenal.
yeah.
So yeah, we checked it out. Thoughts on Style Saputo?
Okay, well, before we get into that, shout out to the supporters group from CF Montreal because they invited our supporters to come
Yeah,
join. And so we kind of were there on the tail end of it, but they had food and drinks and everything, and everyone's chilling. By the time we got there, it was mostly just our supporters kind of hanging
right.
around. They were wrapping up, but we had a nice group of supporters.
We did.
Yeah, and we'll get into that. We'll see them. But yeah, my thoughts on the stadium is it's kind of a weird stadium.
I think Rich Ransom told it to me best. He's like, "What is this? This doesn't even look like it looks like I think it was something like
It feels like a temporary stadium.
That's what he was kind of saying too. Like, it's when we were up there last year, I was like, oh, this is kind of an interesting layout, almost like a college. It reminds me almost like Beaver Stadium, like
Yeah.
Beaver Stadium in the 90s and 80s. Just you see a lot of the structure sticking out.
Right.
Um, and it looks like it was never completed to full because it's
Yeah.
like a C, and then you have like where the offices and like press, and then there's some seating in there. It's built on the side of the hill, that part.
Yeah.
And you have the temporary side.
Yeah.
So, and then when you walk in, it's kind of just like lots of boxes that are like bathrooms
So
and stands, and it's just kind of different environment.
yeah, the bathrooms were like the upscale porta potties, the ones that are like in a little
Yeah.
trailer. And so so they were temporary bathrooms, which is kind of weird. And
They were
so
nice, so would
they
you
were
say they
okay.
were they nicer than the Union's bathrooms?
Well, I mean, yes,
We made a joke about that.
yeah, there's a lot of complaints about the union's
Anyway,
bathrooms that's
but
like,
no, I said
yeah.
that to somebody. We were sitting over there, "Are these better?" And they're like, "That's a good question." No,
Well, yeah, I mean, they were okay, except
they're
I
kind of,
know, yeah, and I know like Elvia slipped on the stairs coming down,
yeah, they were, yeah,
but
it
it was
was,
just kind of weird, like having temporary bathrooms like that.
it was.
I didn't partake of any of the food options, but they had food. I will say this, the concourse was not a full-on
No, you could
cluster.
just
You
walk
could
around.
walk around. It wasn't like all tight and you know how it is at Subaru Park. It's a little hard to walk around sometimes.
And when I went to get drinks, and I was kind of walking around at halftime, like they were like ushering people in. It was like it wasn't like, oh, where are we going? Where are we going now?
Yeah.
Some of you that were there, you might have had different experience, and if so, let us know. But like when we were sitting there to get some beers, like they were like, "Yep, next person, next person." Like they were ushering you, and it
Yeah.
was kind of nice crowd control. So
Yeah. We had some beers, and didn't you say the water was more expensive than the beer?
I swear it was, or it was like very in line with the beer. Like, because I got beer and a water, and the beer was like $11, and the water I think was like 10, whatever. Yeah, it was like weird.
Yeah.
It I don't know.
But anyway, and I know some people got poutine there. We definitely ate poutine while we were in Canada, but we didn't have it at the game. So, yeah, and then our supporters were all the way kind of at the top on the one corner. We were not far from the Montreal supporters.
No,
It was almost like a situation like at Subaru Park.
it was.
Um, the good news is we were under the roof.
Yeah, no. So we
So,
weren't getting rained on as much.
yeah, so that
We had a
helped.
nice view of the stadium. So
We had a
let's
good crowd. How many people would you say we had? Maybe 30 fans there, if that?
something like that. Yeah.
I would say 20 to 30 Union fans there. And we have some pictures you'll be able to see. And nice, it's fun.
So here's where we were.
Yeah, so there's the view. So
It's a nice view of Olympic Stadium too.
yeah. I will say this, when the game was going, there were a lot of empty seats still.
Yeah, there were. And let's also, so I thought the pitch was fine.
This picture's from warm up, so it
Yeah,
wasn't quite filled in yet, but there'll be pictures from, I think, the games like that's still warm up, but
but let's talk about the scoreboard.
yeah, so my criticism was, what kind of high school scoreboard is it? No, I said my high school, shout out Hempfield High School, has a better scoreboard than this professional soccer team. Like the tiny little very basic scoreboard, like I couldn't tell which team was which on there
Right.
when I knew we were ahead and I saw like the 2-1. But and then they had a video screen on either side, but they didn't have, like, say, the score or anything on it, and they didn't have the little side, you know how the little,
And
like,
you really,
side
from where we
screens
were, you
around?
couldn't hear the announcer well either. Like you
Yeah,
couldn't hear how much stoppage time there was
you couldn't hear that, and I couldn't hear, like, when someone got a card, when someone got, like,
or
a yellow
who
card,
got the
or
card.
who got it, and the main reason I knew who was getting subbed in was because I could see them.
Well, right. We were like staring right down the line. But
Yeah, so that was weird, but hey, there's us.
there's
Yep,
us, and then this is kind of more towards warm up. And then
yep.
here's kind of some video. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just us going around. That's kind of stand, but again, there's that weird scene. There's Fred with the mohawk.
Yep, shout out Fred. A bunch of people we knew there. So
And then there was kind of,
Blankenmeyers and Pino and Elvia and Evie and Conrad, and we saw lots of people that we know.
But yeah, this is right at kickoff.
Yeah,
And
that's so there's a lot of empty seats. We actually did at one point do an empty seat chant.
yeah,
And then
there's some chance.
yeah, we did have some chants going. And my videos aren't this rated.
Yep, and then here's a picture.
Yeah, so there's Evie and Elvia and me.
So yeah, that's towards the end of the game. That's Jack Elliott coming over, saying hi.
Yeah, so just to pause that, Jack was the only player to come acknowledge the fans.
Right.
So he came over and yeah. So I know there were fans who were upset about the fact that the team didn't even come over and thank the fans because, in the past they've done that.
Right.
And I know I was thinking actually in Cincinnati, I don't think any of them came over. Maybe
Except-
Allie. I think
No,
Allie
did. He kind of did from midfield.
he
'cause that
kind
was
of
what-
did, yeah. And then that was it. So I mean, listen, I know that the players are frustrated and
Yeah.
it's a loss, but you just had like a decent group of fans travel to another country and the weather is awful and all this, so
I'm not gonna excuse them, but I
yeah.
think there was some frustration there.
like I get it, but
But yeah,
it's a small gesture
it
to
is a
do.
small gesture, and I'm
I
not
see other
excusing.
teams doing a good job of that,
Yeah, I mean Montreal at the end, they walked around and like blood their whole fans like around the entire stadium.
Yeah, and of course, I know Allie is not there, but like when we were in Colorado last year and we had a good group of fans there, and Allie came over and he shook the hand of every fan and thanked them personally for
Right.
coming, and there was like 20 to 30 of us there easily. So that was really cool of him, so but thank you to Jack, that was Jack Elliott's class. I mean, I will say that he's always been like that. So
I mean, we could touch on the game. I mean, I
yeah.
thought shout out to Todd Lewis, saw his episode, you listened to it, thought he
Yeah.
had some good points
Yeah.
today. But I mean, what were your overall thoughts on the game? I mean, Union did what they started fast again.
They did.
They get that goal
We
in
felt
29th minute.
we felt some joy there
And you were yelling at me, don't say it, and I didn't say it because Montreal, and I think Jimmy was the other one pointed out, but when I did my data for the week, Montreal was a team that at the half went trailing, had never gotten a win.
Yeah,
when giving up a goal, had
Mhm.
never gotten a win. So when they put that first back in net, that's the first thing I'm thinking, oh, here we
Yeah,
go.
nice goal by Quinn, and then we had
And then Leon, and you let Joseph Martinez wide open, which I mean, for all the surgeries he's had on his ACL and knee and all that has never been the same player since then. He got up. I mean, for a circle. I mean,
so that was off a set piece, right?
yep.
And
We gave up 2 set piece
yeah,
goals in the
and
night.
the choo-choo goal was great, I
Oh,
thought.
that was a great set piece
It was
goal.
great to
Ran
see
right
him.
on it, put it in, and that's
Yeah.
what he's supposed to do. So 2 goals for him now in the season.
Yeah. Let's talk about that second goal that got let in.
The follies that I put in my article where Andrew Rick like does a star jump because I think because he basically misreads it.
He
Does
totally
star
misread
jump.
it.
Jack
Yeah.
tries to clear it out of the box. It's already past the line. Shoot 2, and you're like, oh, that was really bad. Just a folly of errors.
Yeah, not good. No, I mean, listen. First of all, when we saw the line before we even saw the lineup, we all thought like, oh no, it's gonna be Zemla. It's gonna be Zemla. He's not
It's
possible.
Rick again.
And then we're like, okay, we're going Andrew Rick. Okay. We'll see. And honestly, now I'm not the coach and I don't know these players like Jim does, and I don't have that know-how. But if it's me, I don't think I'd go Rick in this situation. But again,
I mean, that's a tough task.
it's a tough
asking somebody to make their second start on the road. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a tough task. But again, I
Yeah.
think Jose brought this point up to me when I was asking. I said something about that. He's like, maybe the Union right now are valuing Rick more than
Yeah.
Semlin? Who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows? This is a valid question.
Yeah. So today in the presser, I did ask Jim
Yeah,
about the decision to go with Rick and, what he thinks of Rick's development and everything. And basically he said, yeah, he had some good plays. There were some not so good, but at this point, both, you're trying to get them experience, getting Rick experience, getting Zemel experience. It's hard to do it when it's in this situation where you're
right.
struggling.
When you're struggling, I think that's the key word. It
Mhm.
is when you're struggling, you're putting some young guys in that, it's
Yeah.
tough right now. And I think the other thing was, so you're tied 2-2. Now we find out later, and I think I made some silly tweet about it where it was like, here comes Danny and Bizo come in,
Yeah.
and both Chris Donovan and Ty get subbed out. Now we find out that Ty injured his back,
In
and
warm up. Yeah.
he wasn't. They weren't
Because
even
we're
sure.
like, what? Yeah, Ty's going out for Bizo.
Yeah, it was weird. And then they went to a back
We've like new
five.
strikers.
Then we went to a back five, and
Jim was just trying to get the point there. And speaking of which, we're up in the stands and some people start chanting, "Hey, Union, we want 3 points." And meanwhile, a bunch of us are like, "No, no, no, we want a point.
I
We
just
want
wanted to
a
get out of
point."
there. At that point, I wanted to get out of there.
Yeah,
And then Bizo comes in and, yep, proceeds to pass the ball to the other
gets
team.
cooked.
Well, I know he was trying to thread the deal, but there's a couple times he just made these like, what are we doing?
Hmm.
Um, and that hot take made is looking worse and worse and worse by
Do you
the minute.
still think Bizo is the top 5 back?
At this point, I'm concerned if he's. I want to know where in the bottom 5 right backs he is in MLS, because he's getting cooked every week. Funny story. You shared the story about me falling asleep on the couch with somebody. We're not gonna say who. And you're like, the first thing Kyle said is, did Bizo get cooked? And the said person said, I bet he did.
Yep, yep.
Again, we're not gonna say who said
Yeah.
person was, but
But if he's listening, he knows who he is.
it was kind of funny. I had a big chuckle
Well, yeah,
about that.
because at this point, we all know.
We all know. But yeah, that's more of a question. It's not about, is he top 5 back? Is he a bottom 5 back? And
Yeah.
it's looking
Yeah.
more and more. But anyway,
So, yeah, and then of
and
course
then
those last 2 goals.
those last 2 goals, you could just see the players soul crushing, just
Yeah.
inexcusable. But those things happen. And you go, okay, 3-2. Maybe they try to get back into it, and they made like 1 or 2 chances, and then that last goal goes in, and that's it. Nothing you're gonna do at that point. And Union now have lost 4 in a row. And more questions than answers at this point. And it's just, I think, I think the Union just need to. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think they saw it coming, and again, it's inability to address what everybody saw coming in the room. We've said this a million times, so we're not going to be a dead horse.
Yeah, I mean, really, we've been there, done that. It's been just covered to death.
And and I even asked Jim today, what, he said, they're so close about getting bouncing back, and every time.
And the margins are razor thin.
Yes, we've heard that a million times, but
Yeah.
bouncing back,
Yeah.
and
Like we're in these games,
they
but then
just
they
keep
lose.
shooting foul. Like, what have you seen in that? And he's basically like, basically just gave me a typical Jim response, and I get it. It was.
Yeah.
I was kind of looking for, maybe he was going to give me some bright side hope. I was expecting maybe more of him not doing that, but
Hmm.
he did talk about, I think the thing is, if everybody's healthy, make a run, he still believes they get into the playoffs.
Hmm.
And, in a 1-game series, you'd hate to be the person, then you're in the playoffs. We've addressed this. We know that. I think that's the frustrating part. And I do think Jim's searching for answers as well. So,
Yeah.
um, there were times, and I was talking, I forget who it was who said, I didn't think at times in the night the Union played horrible. And that's fair. I mean, did they
Yeah.
look great with that lineup, they looked okay. I don't think the flat four is the thing, and I don't know if you go back to the 5 in the back. It just doesn't work at this point.
Yeah. Now, what's going to be interesting is Chicago,
Chicago's gonna be very
especially if
interesting.
Ty is not available because he's questionable.
And
It's
so
gonna be a game time decision.
before
Let's
well,
wrap up
let's
Montreal
wrap up
first.
Montreal first. But so yeah, after that we went out, watched the rest of UFC, caught the main event,
Well,
hung out. Oh,
before that, right after
oh
the
yeah.
match. Yeah, Kyle.
We went to
So we went to
Avant
Avant-Garde
yes, which
Brewing.
is a brewery that I knew very
So
much about,
yeah,
and
so we
it's
walked there
excellent.
with a bunch of Union supporters. Okay, so here we are. And so a little bit about that is so they had just had last call, and then so I've shout out Elvia because I think she
She
was
talked to the
she talked to
people.
the people, but the bartenders and stuff, they actually, actually served us longer than they actually allowed us to get some stuff. And so we had quite the crew there, as you can see.
Yeah,
Um,
it was just good sharing memories. It was fun talking to Fred and just
yeah,
him sharing some memories of
yeah,
seasons past. And him and I were talking about Bethlehem Steel based off of the
yeah,
Matt Harriel interview, and he shared some stories. It was just a fun time
it
with
was.
everybody there.
Yeah, so we had that was over there, and then I have another picture of all of us as well. So shout out to everyone who was hanging out with us.
We went live for a little
We
bit,
went live for a little bit, yeah.
and then so on.
And then we went to an Irish pub with some of the group, and yeah, we watched the UFC
Yeah.
fight. So,
And
yeah,
then Sunday we spent the day
at
at
Laurent.
yes, which is Six Flags Park.
Yeah, so and we had nice weather.
It was beautiful
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah. So yeah, that was whatever that creature is
Yeah.
from there. That was like from the kids area. And then yeah, I see you took a few pictures here. There's like the dino area kind of.
And then the monster, which was not open.
Yeah, the wooden roller coaster they had there. Yeah, it was not open. It was windy at times, so they didn't have everything open necessarily at certain times, but then eventually almost everything was open pretty much except for that.
Yeah.
So,
I
uh,
mean,
yeah.
what was your overall? Oh,
Keep going.
yeah,
There's more pictures. So then there's us on the Ferris wheel.
yeah.
So we got a good view of Montreal on the Ferris wheel, so that was good. And then
So,
there any others?
no, we just have a couple little wrap up clips.
Okay. Okay.
So, no, what'd you think of LeBron? It was small,
It was a smaller
but
Six Flag Park,
we
but it
can
was
shout
fun.
out who we went with.
Yeah, so we were there with Ricky and Giovanna.
Yeah, it was fun. Ricky and I had planned this. We talked about it. We're both gonna be up there, and he had told me last year when we were up there. He's like, "Hey, you can go run," and I'm like, "Is it?" So we decided, hey, let's all meet up, and so we rode some coasters. They
Yeah.
had, I think, the only one we didn't do was the little kiddie mine train,
Which whatever.
and Monster was closed. Which ones did you enjoy the most?
I think I enjoyed probably Goliath the
Goliath was
most.
nice.
Yeah, so that one you are see it four across, and uh that one was, how would you describe that one? Like,
It's just it's a hyper coaster. I mean,
yeah.
it's the old Superman. If you ever ridden the Superman ride, it's kind of like you're strapped in, like it goes between your legs and just kind of go up and it drops you down. You get some nice air. It's an out and back basically with a little
Yeah.
bit of waves, and it was
Yeah.
nice. It was fast. It took you. I thought the vampire was
Yeah.
great,
That was a
which
good one.
is totally a knockoff of the Batman roller coaster rides if you've ever ridden them.
Yeah.
And they just painted it differently. I thought that one was fun.
Yeah, that one was fun. And by the way, while we're at at Laurent, on my phone, like when we're in line and everything, I'm watching the Union 2 game.
Yeah.
They're playing Toronto FC 2. And if it wasn't like a 5-hour drive, like, oh, that could have been fun to go over to as well. But we were watching it on our phone, which by the way, they won
Yeah.
4-0. And shout out Eddie Davis. He had a brace, and
Yeah.
Frankie Westfield had a goal, and Kyle Tucker had a goal.
Yeah.
So that was great to see. I was following that and the Phillies game at the same time, which they had a comeback win on Trey Turner's birthday. So yay. But yeah, Union 2 had a good win after the not great game against Red Bull too. So
No, and
good to
that's
see him bounce back.
and that'll be fun because in our interview, well, I guess we interviewed Eddie Davis. That'll
Yeah,
be coming out later this week. He said they were going to bounce back, and
and they did.
they sure did. And
And
brace.
yeah, and Eddie got player of the match week. So
So
yeah,
yeah, that was a fun time just spending the day with those two, and then we went back and decided to go to another Irish pub and
yeah, because we're like we want to go watch soccer.
watch Venezuela and Jamaica. So
Yeah, so
ended up finishing up the day.
yeah.
Um, here's
Yep.
us.
So they had on the TV, they had Fox on, which had the Mexico Ecuador game on. And so on my phone, then I had the Venezuela Jamaica game. And it was great to see Brujo and Damien. So one of my favorites, one of my favorite parts was the national anthem, and Brujo is just singing that anthem so hard, and I love it.
It was
It
pretty
was
awesome.
great.
It was great to see.
Yeah.
They played well and lots of shots at Damien. So some Union exposure there, which is always
Yeah.
exciting. Food was excellent there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It was very good.
and then afterwards we
Afterwards, okay, so I love matcha, and when I found a matcha place, I was like, we have to go there.
so we
So
took the subway all the way down.
we took the subway down. I got my matcha, and then we went back. So it
Yeah,
wasn't that far, but
it wasn't that
I got a
far at all.
matcha soft serve, and you got just
Vanilla.
vanilla.
It was
Yes,
good.
yes. So yes, I have a problem
So that was
when it
the
comes to
trip.
matcha.
And it was a fun time, even
Mhm.
regardless of a disappointing loss. So
Yeah.
I mean, again, fans, if you could get up to Montreal, definitely. It's a really nice city.
Yep.
We
So
might go up again sometime soon. So
yeah.
anyway, Union bounced back at the time of this recording will probably be coming out tomorrow. We're recording on Tuesday, so tomorrow's game. So you'll be listening to this on match day.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight, it's an opportunity for the Union.
Chicago are in last place.
Now they've won, unlike the Union, they've won 2 out of their last 5. Now they're on a 2-game losing streak, but again, Union on the road, which they played better at. Conrad, shout out to Conrad, was sitting next to him, chatting with him the whole game. He's like, "Hey, you're on the road. You're going to see Union score some goals." So
Mhm.
see if they score some goals
Yeah.
tomorrow, and it'd
Yeah.
be nice to get a point.
It
Or
would.
get their confidence back. I think that's the biggest thing. You just want,
Yeah.
hopefully, they get their confidence back. Take that into a game on Saturday against a really tough Red Bulls team.
Yeah. Shame we couldn't go to Chicago. That would have been fun. Shout out to Todd Lewis, who,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah, and
because
make
you'd go to
sure
the Phillies game too. The Phillies
I
are out there and the Union, which would have been perfect, I know, but it's tough when we've been
I
away so
really
much
want,
lately.
well, and that was a big thing. I told Todd I wanted to go out, and I literally, even as we were driving up the night before, I'm like, man, if I can make it work, if I can make it work, and just like I told,
We've been
just
away so much
it was way so
lately.
much my day tomorrow, and it just wasn't going to
Yeah.
happen. So, Todd, have a great time, have a safe trip.
Have fun being a temporary Phillies fan.
But yeah,
Good
no,
times.
no, I hope you have some great stories to share on your pod as
Yeah.
well coming back. So anyway, we'll see what happens. But again, check out later this week we'll have Eddie Davis, and I should have an article out either at the time of this recording later this evening or first thing in the morning as well, kind of
Yep.
just recapping a little bit of the game, some thoughts, some quotes from the pressers, and a couple travel tips. Do a quick travel blog. But that's all for this episode of the One Team We Agree On.
Make sure to like and subscribe and leave comments. We love hearing from you. And if you have any ideas for future guests or topics or whatever, just hit us up, let us know. And we love hearing from you. So just keep them coming.
Yeah, until next time, I'm Kyle,
I'm Jillian.
and we'll see you at the game.